Hello everyone, I'm Kulwant Kaur Rehal from IASPrimers, and the purpose of this video is to discuss the first topic in the essay paper that had come this year, and the topic is forests are the best case studies for economic excellence. Right? So first of all, before coming to the explanation, let us see what and in what context probably this question has been asked. Right? So let us look at this. What I understand, see, it's an essay, there will be various interpretations, and fortunately, nothing is really wrong. But nevertheless, the more close you are to interpreting it in the way it was anticipated or expected, the more are the chances of getting better marks. Right? And it is, this year the paper was simple in the sense there were no such ambiguous terms like, remember the engendered? It had two different connotations. So it was not like that. It was a simple paper. All the words could be understood. Last year paper also, there were words, which were difficult. The rational world and all, it becomes difficult to interpret. It was highly philosophical, as was said. But every essay, no matter how simple it appears, the best thing about simple is you cannot have two interpretations, there has to be one, and it's easier for you. But nevertheless, it is not that a simple essay will have a simple answer. That is the challenge. You have to come to the answer at your level, at your caliber, and you are competing with the cream. So what is your understanding? That is how it has to be taken. And examples like that. Got that? So whatever I give probably will be a cue to how you can raise your answer. Because as I always say, essay answer has to be your own. So let your minds think more than what I tell you, but maybe it will spark something else, and that is what you can connect somewhere else. Right? This will not be the complete answer per se, but then there would be pointers which will help you to write a polished answer, a better answer, a more substantive answer. Right? Having said that, let's come back here. So how I see it is, first of all, I would like to come to the word economic. So what is economics? It is all a study of fulfilling wants. Right? In fact, it is all about either production or consumption. That is all what we studied about economics, right? This is one thing, but the second word of economics is excellence. So what does excellence mean? Excellence does not mean larger in quantity. Excellence means keeping your sustainable development goals in mind. We have enough for everybody's wants, but not for their greed. So what happened right away in the beginning at the time of production, or even as we see, even now, rural area is acquired for either housing or for factories or for malls. So first thing is what is done? Deforestation. And they say they will plant it somewhere else. Wonder whether it is done or not. But then we are plundering the resources of the forest for development. But then, is that a good thing? Is that a wise thing? Probably no. Because yes, if nothing was done, we wouldn't have come to the level now we are. That is also true. So somewhere there has to be a balance. So how do we create that balance? This is what the entire question is about. Forests are the best case studies. It is looking at your forest, whether you've conserved your forest and how you've used your forest along, going hand in hand with economic development. To keep the economic development, you need forests. Without forests, what will happen? You yourself will not exist. Right? I mean, the basic, let's look at it. Without forests, there is in fact, because of depletion of forests, depletion of resources, there is climate change, and the temperatures are soaring high, the water levels are rising. So all these things are why? Because the forest cover has been removed from there, or is being removed very fast. Why? In our greed to grow more, to become industrialized. So that is not the thing. He says the forests are the best case studies. If you've been able to use your forests in such a way that you go ahead with economic excellence, those are the cases which we need to look at. Maintaining the forest as well as development. If your forest and how you use your forest for economic development. For example, if forests are not there, as I said, the place is not worth living. And if it is not worth living, you will not have development there. It will become arid land. Nobody wants to go and live in the desert. It will not attract foreign investment. Right? So we need to understand that. There would be, it would be disaster prone. For example, if you look at the Western Ghats, it has been declared as ecological sensitive zone. So now what happens? There's a tug of war between the politicians, economical, the businessmen, economic class. For development, they want to erase the cover of forests and, start. They don't see the immediate benefit of forests. But then what is happening is that is not the right way of development according to our sustainable development goals. It will wipe away all the rich heritage of the tribals and the forests and whatever they are doing, holding on the earth and our climate, everything. So that is what is very important. We need to understand from that point of view. I hope my background and the perspective of the question is clear. Forests are the best case studies for economic excellence. If you've understood this aspect, we can proceed with the answer. So in the right in the beginning, first paragraph, you need to let the examiner know that you have understood the question in the right perspective. In those 150 words, you will explain how you have understood the context of the question. Because that is when he decides that yes, this person knows the answer, this person is way read, and what is going to be the level of the answer somewhere. Because first impression is last impression, as they say. So that's very important. In the first paragraph, you need to explain the, as they say, keywords, or maybe what led to this, the context of this, and why it was said like that. If you can relate that, nothing like it. So economics and how excellence with sustainable development goals and how forests are going to help. Everything is, for man, and man can remain because of forests. So forests are important. If this connection is explained in the first paragraph, well, you've done your justice to the first paragraph. Got that? And now we have the word case studies. We have to give various examples how the forest can be used for our betterment or for exploitation for economic purposes. Exploitation, yes, but enhancement of forests also have to be done. Preservation of forests has also be done. So then you can talk about case studies like that. So you have so many things where they're directly related to forests. So we need the forests, right? So whether it is sericulture you have, or apiaries you have for bees, for honey, or for the fruit industry in Himachal. So all these will come up, right? For medicinal also, eucalyptus trees, even teak, for example. So all these things will come up. Yes, when you talk about teak and furniture, at that time you can say, but forests should not be now used for this. There are many other substitutes which are available, and we could, prevent that. When you talk about paper from forests, you can talk about paper that can be recycled from recycled material that you can use, so that you save on trees there. So certain examples like that, certain case studies like that, and you can come to some, you can proceed with your answers. Forests are best case studies. You are using your forest in such a way that you're not exploiting them. So those things must come, and you are going ahead with your economics. Yes, and one very important point, ecotourism. So ecotourism, all your biodiversity parks, your natural resources, your sanctuaries, wildlife sanctuaries, all these, ecotourism, your Chilka Lake, there, and all other, there are so many others, lakes, hill stations, whatever. So we have, why? Because of the nature, bountiful nature, we have resorts like that. So they are directly connected with the forest and at the same time bring economic excellence, wonderful way. They are all preserved. And you have a surge in your economic returns. Wonderful, economic excellence. Right? So you can have 2 paragraphs here on what are the benefits there from forest directly and also from ecotourism. So that those are 2 ways. However, what we can say is, so you can support your claim with examples. National, international, what do I mean here? National, international, we just wrote as a Q. For example, in urban areas, what happens is, urban areas, because of, it has become a concrete jungle because of the large population exodus. And what happens, they become heat trap areas. And we have seen in other countries, Brazil and Singapore, they have gone in for vertical forestry or gardening. So they have vegetables and other plants, greenery, I should say, greenery under the flyovers and in the balconies, on the rooftops. So that is called urban forestry. So that is an excellent case study. This is an example of how forests can be preserved even in urban areas. So this is one example that will come up here, right? Then we have, for example, we have mangroves, which is in Sundarban areas, right? Now the mangroves are meant to, they hold on to the earth, they are rich in carbon, absorption. They all are called blue carbon. So they are very rich, they're very good for the area as health-wise, because that bring a lot of pure air there. And at the same time, they provide a barrier for safety against cyclones, and they break the wind and they'll break the water force also if there's a tsunami or something. So now how can we use such forest on the eastern coast where it is very prone to cyclones like Odisha and all? Can we do that? So that would be wonderful if that can be done. So that could hold the, that could prevent so many disasters, and every disaster is an economic disaster. We go a step back in our resources and so badly. I mean, we are shattered every time. It is at the individual level and at the national level. All the floods, whether it was the Kerala floods or in Orissa, whenever there are cyclones and all, every time you take a back seat, economics takes a back seat. So those disasters can be avoided, and this planting of forests can be part of the disaster management. So it could be taken up like this. So case studies can be done, should be done, how other countries have used forests better than any other thing to save your environment. It can prevent landslides, they can prevent disasters. So, and in saving, if you save the earth, you save yourself. Hum hai to jahan hai na? Then money is useful if you're there. If you're not there, then what is the point? They will give you water, everything. So entire thing, the leaves absorb and everything. There will be condensation and other things. You mean the rainforest region, equatorial regions, how the good rains happen because of the forests. So similarly, we need to understand that how forests are a case study for economic excellence, and how we will not remain economically sound for a long time. We will not be a wanted nation for development, a source where you can invest, if there are no forests. And that is why we need to answer this question in this context and in this way. Okay, and then conclusion also has to come like that, that somewhere there will always be a tussle between the political and economic parties who think of the immediate benefit, but always there are whistleblowers who will alert them that no, forests are important and somewhere we need to understand that we have to conserve and even let them flourish. The local environment should flourish. It is in the rich heritage that India's recognition should be there, and the worth of true India is there. It's everywhere. So it is through the forest we can do. Okay, so that way you can conclude the answer that it is a very apt way, and it sounds the bell at the right time before lot of disasters happen. We can still take, have caution and work in this area at a broad footing level to save our country, save ourselves, and the economics. Right? Okay, all the best. Write your answer, and God bless you.